Here are the materials I used to make the figure. I used molded, Fevicryl molded for the sculpting. You have flower making wires for the skeleton and all that stuff. A plastic straw, a piece of plastic which I got from packing material. Then you have Feviquick, ivory sheets, a magnet, and also a smaller magnet which I didn't have whilst recording this segment of the video. So without any further ado, let's begin. I began the figure by making a wire skeleton which allows the figure to actually move and makes it an action figure and not a statue. It also provides the figure support and it helps me while sculpting. If you want to know how to make one, there's a video, link in the description. You can visit that anytime you want. After this, I finally began the sculpting of the torso, and it was something familiar as well as something new. Because, well, I usually, when I sculpt armors, they're not so detailed or something this intricate. I used a technique in which I let parts dry after I sculpted them and sculpted over them after that. Now I washed my hands and sculpted the legs of the figure. And by far, in the entire figure, I believe this is the easiest part because, well, they didn't have a lot of detail and they were really easy to shape and whatnot. And the feet were also very easy to do. I did them off camera. After which, I washed my hands. Now, as for the arms and the head, I sculpted them pretty much in tandem with each other. First of all, I sculpted one arm, sculpted the head, sculpted the other arm. That's it. And the arms, well, especially the hands, they were done in different ways. One of the hands was an open hand, whilst the other one was a clenched fist, in which I had made a hole using a toothpick so that it can hold accessories. After which, I washed my hands because these days you can never be too safe. Now all that was left to do on the figure was to embed a small magnet, which I didn't have. So I had to do another shortcut in which I found this metal washer lying around the house, and I used that to put into the back. And to fit it inside the back, I had to carve a chunk of the back out because, well, none of the magnets or pieces of metals I had were thin enough, and I was very lazy to find any more. So yeah, this could easily attach with the magnet which I had shown before. Now as for the backpack, the plan was very simple. I was gonna have the normal, rescued Doritos which she has on her back, alongside some thrusters which I would make out of the straw and some ivory sheet. This part is completely optional. Now as for the backpack triangle Dorito things, I used the ivory sheet as I mentioned before, stacked it into layers a few times and made this really hard cardboard type substance, onto which I drew the Doritos or triangles or whatever you call them. These were like the attacking parts which the suit used in the movie. I shouldn't have any idea what they're for, but hey, that's Marvel for you, isn't it? Now I cut these parts out, and finally using them, plastic, a small wire, I again stuck them together in order to create one of the back fins. That's what I'm gonna call that part now. Congratulations. This I finally was able to attach to the magnet. And I did slightly curve them to give them that organic look which the suit usually has, instead of a more technological look which they would have if they were flat. Now as for the thrusters which I was talking about before, here they are, no magic here. I used straws, a little bit of that cardboard I was talking about, wire to make them articulated, and then the two fins, yes, you have to make two of those fins, these thrusters and a magnet I finally joined together to make the backpack, and I held all that together using Feviquick, and onto which I sculpted molded for more detailed parts alongside reinforcement, which is really important because action figures are meant to be posed and played around with. The last thing you want is them breaking because of lousy engineering. Hooray! Now here's the backpack. Finally it's done. And here is the figure in all of her sculpted glory, which I totally did not go completely mental over whilst I was creating this. And if you are working on this project whilst watching this video, congratulations, the hardest part is now complete. Enjoy, rest, take a day off, it's quarantine time, you are already free. What? Wait. So, what day is it? How long have I been? Oh, what day is it? What day is it? What day is it? Since when have I been? What? No, it can't be. I'm completely fine. What? It can't be. Nothing is there, no. No. You're the one who's got all this suffering. You are the reason I'm going crazy. Die. The reference pictures I had collected for the figure were quite wonky in the color stages because at places it was purple and gold and in the others it was blue and silver. So I did a gradient of using the colors on the left, that is pearl purple and a little bit of pearl yellow. If you do not want to make a gradient type figure, then you can just exclude them. Aside for that, I used a thinner brush and a thicker brush. Thicker brush was for laying down base colors and a thinner brush was for doing details. If you do not have a thinner brush at hand, you can cut down a thick brush. Here's the figure after I did the base coat of pearl blue. After this, I covered the entire thing with a gradient of pearl purple, giving the figure a better look. Then I went in and did the white parts with a mixture of pearl white and normal white. This made it stand out and made the gradients pop out as well. After this, I finally did the face of the figure and some blue details all over the thing, alongside some gunmetal here and there. Here is the back attachment, or the Doritos or triangles, which I also painted. And the whole gradient thing was here too. It was actually very easy to paint as compared to the whole figure. And finally, to make the figure as well as the accessories durable, I covered them with 2 layers of artist's picture varnish. Here is the articulation of the figure. It is quite basic because first of all, it's an armored figure. Second of all, I had not intent for Rescue to have a lot of dynamic poses. Most of them were gonna be in the air. Therefore, lesser articulation was totally fine. As for the accessories, I made 2. One of them was completely made off camera, which is this broken Iron Man helmet. It was really fun to do. I did a few different techniques which I haven't done before. One of them was scribing. And yes, it kind of balances onto the hand of the figure pretty well. And then you have the whole back attachment, which itself is articulated at 4 points. That is the thrusters and the 2 fins. The backpack attaches fairly well onto the back of the figure. And here is a more detailed picture of the small helmet. And with that, the figure is finally complete. It was kind of a journey through this entire time, being in quarantine, making this thing and editing this video. My god. Here are some pics I took. More of them are on my Instagram at HeyHeyUday. Please go check them out and give me a follow if you can. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to, well, first of all, share if you have somebody else who, is interested in stuff like this. And finally,
Session.